This is a very famous statue of General Washington. There are 6 different aspects of his life in this statue. He posed for it for about 2 months sporadically, and they got tired of posing for it. So this was done by the sculptor Houdin, and there are 7 of these. This is one of the replications of the original. The original is in the State House in Richmond. This was up in the Visitor Center for many, many years, and it is exactly the life size of George Washington. He was 6 foot 2 1/2. At the beginning of the Revolution, he was 175 pounds. By his death, he was 205 pounds, and most people think that he was very, very chubby. He was not. He was a very big man for the time period. Today, he would probably be the equivalent of an NFL linebacker in his physique. He was a phenomenal horseman. Phenomenal horseman. Several times, his soldiers during battles thought he was going to fall off his horse, and they watched him maneuver the horse so they never fell off. So this represents the different aspects of Washington's life as a diplomat, as a general, as a soldier, as president. And there are 7 of these, and in the 1840s and 50s, Great Britain asked the United States if they could have one of these to memorialize General Washington. Washington was well known in Europe even before the Revolution, and he was well respected, not necessarily as a general, but as a gentleman. So the British asked if they could have one of these statues to put in London. The problem was, Washington said at the end of the Revolution he would never step on British soil for the rest of his life. So now we have a quandary. And they went back and forth, and Congress went back and forth, and finally someone came up with the compromise. They went to Mount Vernon, they dug up 2 55-gallon barrels of dirt from Mount Vernon. They put it on a ship with one of these statues. They sent it over to London. The British dug a hole, put all the Mount Vernon soil in it, and then put the statue on top of the soil. So Washington technically is still not ever standing on British soil. But this, if you come and you stand next to the statue, you can see the largeness of Washington, the leadership of Washington, and the strength of Washington in this statue. And it's just a phenomenal thing to see. And you can sit here and study this statue with all the different aspects of the general's life. We all know that Washington is the father of our country. The Revolution could not have been won without George Washington's leadership. Our presidency still is the way it is today because of the stability and the leadership of Washington. Remember, when the Revolution was over, Washington voluntarily resigned his commission, stepped down, and went home. When King George read that Washington resigned voluntarily from this point of power, he actually fell back into his throne chair and said, "My God, this has got to be the greatest man that's ever lived. How can any person ever give up that power?" That is Washington. At the last day of his presidency, he stood outside the State House in Philadelphia, waiting for now President-elect Adams to walk in and Vice President-elect Jefferson to walk in. Washington stood outside, and he said, his last public statement was, "I stand here, your president. I will leave this building as a common citizen of America." That is why we fought the Revolution. And that is the heart and character of this man. In my opinion, the greatest American who's ever lived.